What's been happening, Grayson? What are you
Well,
doing?
just staying alive, I think, has been the aim of the game. Um, I wish I could say there's been a lot going on for me AI wise, but just
Yep.
prototyping and trying to get to market. In a single move, it's like a bad game of chess, and you'll see why shortly.
How have you found doing these weekly prototypes? I know this is our third one, is it? Second one, third one, whatever. How are you finding them?
It's like a school project, isn't it? It's like I'm gonna do this the night before. I'm thinking out of the box. I'm like, am I going to use the same product again? I tried to use a different product. Oh, this is. Can I
Yep.
say this is fucked? I've got to go back to what I was using because I've learnt it enough now to get it going.
Yep.
I've got 60 ideas. They're all shitty. I've got to make something. So that's what's
Yep.
yours? What's your experience? Is it close to
It's
mine?
been exactly the same. It's like the day before, and I'm thinking, shit, I've got nothing. I haven't done any thinking behind it. But actually, what I love about it is there's so much constraint. There's no overthinking. It's like, okay, what is the first gut feel idea? Just go with that. And it's usually something like the gut feel thing is usually something that makes me laugh a little bit. That's usually a good temperature gauge of the right path. So I'm enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying it because I find that I feel like my awareness around seeing more solutions to problems is just sort of heightening. Because what we're creating, like at least what I'm creating, is just kind of like these small little toy type things and these little tests, but it's really priming and activating the brain to, like, I think it's a great practice.
No, it's a big learning thing. I'm seeing the learning curve itself. So
Yep.
like I think I'm great at this, and it does the J curve,
Yeah.
and then I realise I fucking suck, and then I'm trying to climb back up the other side of the curve into some sort of I'm okay at this, and just understanding problems now, not just solving it for myself, but then
Yep.
hearing that opportunity of someone else's problems, and then I could solve that. Maybe there's an opportunity
Yep.
in solving that problem for someone. So, and
And this goes
taking
back to that
time.
beautiful thing that the market will eventually decide if this is useful or not, including this podcast itself. So,
Well, those two people
one of
keep
the
watching.
things, when we've got more viewers, I don't know if you've seen the
Ah,
stats, we're climbing up. One of the things I've been sort of grappling with is, I don't know if this is a bad habit or I've, upskilled, but I use ChatGPT to write every email I do now. It's not even the difficult ones. I don't waste time on the small ones. I don't waste time on the big ones or the medium ones. And the process I've been doing is an email will come in. I'll look at it. I'll just open up ChatGPT, click on that little dictate button. Got the microphone set up. Like, I'd love to say this microphone was set up to do a podcast. It was actually set up so I could talk directly to ChatGPT faster. I think typing is on its way out. So yeah, and then I talk to it and say, okay, this email's come in. I want to say this, this, and this, and make it, semi nice, and then bang, send that off. But what I'm sort of, asking the question of myself is, am I going to lose that ability to communicate?
no, I think you're this. You said it years ago. Like the future is non-user interface.
Yep.
And I did what you did. I jump in the car now, and I
Yep.
say to chat, can you give me the news today?
Yep.
And it's fantastic. So we're having an election here in
Yep.
Tasmania, Australia,
Yep.
and a party announced a policy, and I thought, oh, the headline's good, but give me the detail on the policy. And I delved into it with chat. I had an argument with chat because it felt like it was playing
Yeah.
safe. It's like I said, tell me the pros
Yeah.
and cons of this policy.
Yep.
He's going, there are different points of view. And I'm going, no, just tell me what's good or bad about it, champ.
Yep.
So I had an argument with ChatGPT, but news, got through the news, fantastic, done it a couple of days in a
Yep.
row. And then after that, it's sort of a free flow, and I'd be like, oh, let's get the tasks that are in my head as I drive as well. So
Yeah.
I'm like, here's my to-do list, chat. So as soon as that whole token bullshit disappears and you can
Yeah.
just continuously interact with it, and its memory grows, it's just going to get more powerful.
Yeah, it's incredible like that too. So you're talking about the voice mode, where you have that back and forth dialogue. See, that's a really interesting way. Because I know you've got that background, you know, in your journalism stint, and also with all the politics, you know, press releases and all that sort of stuff. When you go on our local newspaper, the Examiner, or you know, those regional newspapers, they seem so outdated and very hard to get information, paywalled a lot of the time, and for what really? So I think, you know, what you've
You're paying
described,
for the journalism.
well, what you've described is you've become the journalist in a really inverted kind of way, because you are now acting as a journalist, asking the question, well, what does this mean? So previously it would be, okay, someone who has a degree, who has an understanding of how to delve deep, ask the right questions, sort of cut through the bullshit and pull something out that's actually there. But now you can do that through your own lens of curiosity, dive into this, and it can explain it to you in a way that, you know, suits your understanding. So I think that's hey, it may not change the world, but I've been using like that approach as well, and it's, you know, it's been really cool.
I'd probably just clarify for those serious journalists who might accidentally watch this. I chased ambulances and police by phone usually, and they wouldn't tell me much anyway. Remind me to tell you about the story of the woman who attacked her husband with a spoon one day.
A spoon?
The police gave a statement that said that the husband had been, a man had been stabbed by his wife. And I was like, well, can you tell me what it was? And they're like, no, we can't tell you. But you've told me he was stabbed, so is it really going to give the game away if you tell me once it goes to court that it was a knife? Because that's what, you know, allegedly it was a knife, you know. No. I'm like, well, just write it's a spoon. Anyway, it gets deeper. I'll tell you about the full story one day when it actually got to court.
So a few other things in this sort of a backyard AI and what we've been doing this week. One of the things I've been playing around with is the biggest problem I've had is being able to work in parallel. So what this means is I can sit here, but I can have multiple, let's say, for lack of a better word, team members working on different tasks at the same time. Previously, just using ChatGPT or, you know, any sort of AI, it would have to be me sitting here in the driver's seat, conducting this thing, and to go a long distance, but it would still be a very singular, you know, single stream. You know, you just go do one task a long way. So when you stop, the work stops. And I just found that fast in some ways to get something built, but very slow in being able to do multiple things adjacent to it at the same time. So I figured, well, there's got to be a better way than this. So what I've been playing around with the week.
Do you need to?
I actually don't think so.
No,
I've been doing more Freud on myself, and it's actually saying I'm probably going too fast. But hey, that's another thing, another time. But anyway, back to going faster. And I don't actually like this approach, but I tried it out anyway. So I'd have one project on this screen, a different project, completely like different client on another screen. And then I would have, you know, one AI instance, you know, do your little prompts, bam, go all the way. Then when that was doing its thing, I go to the other screen and get that one going. So was it chaotic? Yeah. Is that a lot to take on? Yeah. Would I recommend it? No. I actually don't think the quality of the work got better, because that context switching in, you know, let's say 2 to 3 minute intervals, I don't think you can do great work on that. So, hey, it's a failed experiment, but I gave it a go. Anything in the backyard AI realm you've been up to this week?
Just pulling together this project. But yeah, look, I am guilty of... Look, I hate the shitty how's the weather type emails. So I would be guilty of paste the whole thing in and just say write a reply. I don't like the answer, so I rewrite half of it. But it gets you started, which is really, you know, comes to the app I built this week. Let's call it an app if you can.
Well, we'll get to that later, because I've got one too, and this this week's going to be different. Fascinating.
I did see a company that was saying they could now, I don't know if it was real, but they would match your resume CV, and you just had to swipe left or right to match to the job, and it would write the application for you, which comes back to your whole point about how do employers. I think there's a good market there for that.
There's something there
for them for getting through it.
But I don't know what it is. So, okay, we'll do a quick resume writer update. Let me just switch the screen. So as you can see, this is my little spreadsheet.
Holy
everything in
moly.
green is everything I've applied for. The red is obvious.
Let me guess. They
Denied.
couldn't pay you enough.
I don't know what it was. So that's how the resume cannon's going.
Cannon. I like the name.
But that's what it is. So this whole thing started just to help out my sister, and I figured, well, I've got a day job. Let's try and upgrade this day job. And so I started using it too. But what happened was my sister was not necessarily as into it as I was, as I am. And so she didn't really use it. And then when she did use it, it involved a lot of me doing a lot of the stuff. So I was like, I've solved her problem, but I've just made one for me. Now I'm doing the work. So I figured there's a really beautiful, it's a really beautiful saying that it creeps up everywhere, is that nature favors simplicity. So what I thought is, okay, what's the simplest solution here? And I think, and there's that good sort of like process innovation way of looking at something is like something about deleting part. The best part is no part. So I figured, how do I delete myself from this? So I just rebuilt it in ChatGPT. I put together some crazy prompts, fed in some information, and actually got it to work. So it actually works better than my resume cannon. And now I can just hand it off to my sister, which I've done, and she can use it and do all her resumes. She can customize it. She can change the tone of it, the flavor. So by removing myself from the process and trying to figure out how do I put the responsibility in her hands, now she's got it to use. So I've made myself redundant from that too.
Oh, good. It's always good to have one less problem.
So what you're talking about, I think there is something in that space. I don't think it's that obvious to me at this stage, but it just seems kind of a mess of an industry.
There used to be people who would write your resumes. I think they're obsolete.
They're still out there, but they must be hanging on. But
there's going to need to be other services in that mix now. I think if you're offering, it's not just that one thing.
Yeah, there have to be something about it.
So I had a haircut this week too. But
did you?
It's
looking good.
Still not out of a job, but resume writers, I think they're out. Obsolete.
Yeah. Well, actually, okay, I've got a surprise for you. So in doing client work, I got a bit distracted. That procrastination where you just build something that doesn't need to exist.
I've built something to fix that, by the way.
Okay, excellent. Because the thing that you're supposed to be doing, you don't want to do. So you do something that's far more complicated and way less useful.
Well, maybe I fix that exact problem. Anyway, go on.
Last week we debuted the title song, the theme song, Rocket Bloom.
Rocket Bloom.
And for those who didn't tune in, this was prompting ChatGPT to write a song, not using these other AI songwriting apps, but ChatGPT itself. And what it came to is this really beautiful, in some ways poetic, the intelligence overtaking its creator, which is us. And so it was quite a beautiful, morbid, strange song. We played it last week. But it got me thinking. I was still thinking about that song during the week, Rocket Bloom. And I thought, what happens if I feed that song that are outputted into the AI music apps? Get it to do a cover version of our Rocket Bloom song.
Love it. I love it. Keep going.
So I did. But it doesn't stop there, because I figured... I did it. So I uploaded it to. I used the website Suno, put it in there, and do a cover under this style. And I chose a few different themes, and it came out. So I'd like to debut them for you now. But there's a twist.
Jeez.
I got us a record label, and I've released them on Spotify as an album.
Awesome.
So, if you look just here, this is
Thrust
Your Instincts, Rocket Bloom, a collection of covers. So these are all covers in different styles of Rocket Bloom. The same song in different genres.
Do you have the original on there, or is that...
Yeah, the original's on there.
Nice.
So some of the hits I called "That's Not a Rocket," "This Is a Rocket," "Thrust Your Instincts," the title song, "Hot Rocket." This one's called "Rucula on Floor," which is Spanish for Rocket Bloom. And then "Let Me Put My Rocket in You." and then Rocket Bloom, the original. So this is on Spotify now. You can actually go there. Because Grayson, we've got a record deal. We made it. We're also on all the streaming platforms. So if you can see here, we're on all these platforms. So you can buy it. You can buy the album.
I'm glad I was a tiny inspiration to the whole explosion.
Yeah. So here's that's our single, and then there's our album, Thrust Your Instincts. So I'd like to play some songs from Thrust Your Instincts just to
please.
give you a taste.
While you do that, I'm going to just put it into my playlist.
Yeah, it's there. So this is a Western theme I went for. I was thinking Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western.
Getting a John Wayne vibe.
This one is Thrust Your Instincts. Another Western style.
My ringtone.
Then we've got the classic Hot Rocket. Another flamenco. And so what I love about this is it's using the same chord structure and there's similar tones run background. There's just overlaid the genre on top of it. I was listening to this in the kitchen before, and for a moment I forgot I was listening to a joke song.
It's
Let Me Put My Rocket in You.
Good. Why am I surprised? Oh, that's epic.
It's a bit more Westworld title sequence theme. And then finally, this is the original. That's where it all began.
Oh, I love this. This is great. Got a little eeriness to it, doesn't it? Digital. Feels digital.
And that's it. That's the album that we have.
Thanks for that. That's a great piece of art.
Well, it's not art. It is art, and it's for sale. So,
Yeah.
so it doesn't stop there. So this is our album, Thrust Your Instincts. I figured, well, this is an AI show, back at AI, a mix of alchemy and anarchy. I figured, well, we've been doing a lot of Freud let's Freud these albums and see what it means. So this is a review from Sigmund Freud. A tiresome display of unresolved libido. Thrust your instincts, fixate on phallic imagery with the subtlety of a teenage dream journal. Tracks like Hot Rocket and Let Me Put My Rocket in You reveal more repression than expression. And unconscious screaming, not singing. And then it reviewed all the songs. So I'll just quickly go over this. You can read this in your own time. So that's not a rocket. This is a rocket. This is a classic Freudian displacement. The rocket is no rocket. It is a phallus, naturally. The double entendre, the emphatic correction. It reeks of a castration anxiety being overcompensated through aggressive symbolic affirmation. Thrust your instincts. Now we'll skip that one. Hot Rocket. You are not subtle, my dear patient. Again, the rocket, erect, dangerous, fiery. This track title could be the sonic expression of a nocturnal emission. And finally, we just go, this is for Let Me Put My Rocket in You. There is no pretense here. The symbolic veil has fallen. You have reached full libidinal confession. This is the primal scene reenacted in sound. A fantasy of penetration. Return to the womb of conquest. So yeah, that's just what Freud had to say about this artistic endeavour.
I'm glad we've crossed over into the comedy genre.
So that's Rocket Bloom.
That's yeah. Well, I mean, those comments are probably Freudian.
Well, I was like, well, maybe, because I did come up with the names. I thought, well, maybe there is something to this. So Freuded, and there you go, unresolved.
No wonder
tension.
Freud's got a reputation.
That's it. I know we've got to get to our prototypes.
I feel so lazy again, Ben.
Oh well, this is what happens when you put off work and put it off. But
you smashed
anyway,
it.
I do want to show, on a serious note, I do want to show a client thing.
Ooh, we're not breaking any confidentiality things here, are we?
Well, nah.
I'm intrigued. Just open it.
No.
I don't care. I've never been for the rules anyway.
So this is a really simple thing. I'll paint the picture so I don't have to take you through the drudgery of the site itself. So it's a Shopify site, and it's for an industrial cleaners, like industrial vacuums and chemicals and all that high level stuff. What carpet cleaners will typically go to this store and buy stuff. So they've got a whole bunch of products, and where they get the product descriptions, you go to the manufacturer's website, you take their content, and then you just copy and paste it into Shopify. It's a mess because you've got German manufacturers, you've got Chinese suppliers. It's all a mishmash. So then what the site looks like, it looks like a scrapbook of a copy and paste of everything that you've, scoured the website, the internet. So my task was for this client is to take all that information and condense it, funnel it down to a consistent layout for everything. So just like if you go on Harvey Norman, like the headings, the specifications, they're all going to be the same, even though one's from Hisense, the other one's from Sony. They're all going to follow that format. So that was the task, the challenge. And the challenge was to do it in a couple of hours, which is not an easy task. So ChatGPT or AI is the obvious solution for this, but ChatGPT doesn't necessarily work that well for that sort of thing. And so this is the thing we've spoken about is ChatGPT is not just a tool. ChatGPT is also a tool that can make other tools, as what you've shown, like with your web scraping tool and so on. You don't have to just do everything inside that black box of ChatGPT. Use it to make the tool that then goes out and does your thing. So this is what I've got. Let me just put screen. So this is the content, just an example of ugly content, copied and pasted.
Yeah, product sheet.
Typical, like that.
Some bad photos.
Yep, and all the supplies are different, so I just go Control A. I just copied this off the websites. And this is the little product, the little tool. So what we do is we paste the raw content in here, which is just that. Now this is a live running app, so just click on here. So this is going to generate the description for us based on the template that, you know, we want for this. So you can see it's just working in the background. And why that's working, what we'll also describe what it does, is it also creates these SEO fields. So here we've got the page title that's SEO'd, the meta description, it's 160 characters, and then the URL handle.
That takes
so
really
everything
interesting, because I write articles and I get ChatGPT to do that these days.
So now what you can see is that this is created in HTML code, got that description, put it in, you know, under headings, subheadings, everything's consistent. There's a table in here. Now I could show you what this looks like, but you don't really need to see that. Just know that it does it. So a place to add PDF downloads, things like that. So, so the beauty of this is now from any supplier, doesn't matter how their content's structured, just paste it in here. It'll reshape that and format it into these, these.
So that's saving it as a HTML file, is it? Is that what you do? Okay.
Yep. And that's what will get put into Shopify, and that's how it will be laid out like that. So,
so Shopify has a box that will be to paste your HTML in for the product description. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So what they were doing it before, they were sort of copying and pasting it exactly, and then just dumping it straight into Shopify. And so it's a mess. And it's a mess for SEO. It's a mess for the user. This just keeps it simple. Also, just a few things before we jump onto our prototypes. A few little things I've added is seeing how many tokens get used to do these. Because if I'm just generating these for clients and just throwing out willy-nilly, I need to understand every time I run this, how much is this costing me? So it cost me 5 cents to run that.
Yep.
So, you know, the job, this job was about
$500. Back to AI.
Yeah, so you can pull that from OpenAI. It'll tell you how much you're using. Another thing I'd just like to add, a few little sort of user things is like just a copy button. You know, instead of going in there and copying and pasting it, just having these, just copy that, copy that, copy that.
Yep.
Now, this was only for a one-off job. And I said, if you want to do the whole site, then we'll look to automate it. So what that would look like is it would still be the same process. We would connect it to the back ends of Shopify so that when we generate that, it'll just automatically generate into that product. And then probably what we'd do is we'd just automate the whole thing. So it would see the website, take in the description, and then feed them out. Now that's really good because when it comes, this job was only for $500. Yeah, about $500, and it was just 20 products. And so what I worked out, I said to them, okay, we'll do 15 minutes per product. And that was the budget. And then within that, it was my goal to think, okay, that's 15 minutes I've budgeted for. How do I shrink it down? So I got it down to 5 minutes per product. So that's just another example of that ChatGPT isn't the tool, just the tool. It is a tool to make other tools. And put this together, it was only I don't think I have it there. It was only 3 prompts to build that. So that's probably 30 seconds of work to make that.
Very specific, but so useful.
So useful, but it sort of gets you thinking is you don't have to have this application that sits out there. You don't even have to know how to program.
Well,
you just
chat
have
would
to
be
know.
a little bit clunky to do that if you had to go in and do it
exactly.
each time, and it clogs up the chat. And
Chat's a really good Swiss Army knife, but a Swiss Army knife's not a very good meat cleaver. So sometimes you need a meat cleaver. All right. Next, prototypes.
That's not the prototype?
No, that was just work. That was
Dude,
just work.
you're on fire. Whew. I'm exhausted just watching.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm good. I know, yeah.
I'm exhausted too, but hey.
So what are you going to kick us off with the prototype as well now? I feel very inadequate. No need to Freud that.
No, this is not about competing. It's just about exploring.
Stop. Starting to sound like one of those fuzzy people.
It's
No,
an
it's all really come
exploration.
from a place of art, really, for me. So there's no competition.
Funny enough, I would say that I'm a competitive person, but in doing this and not being competitive, it's actually made it so much easier because I
Good.
find that I'm not sort of drowning in my own ego to outperform someone. I'm just thinking what's going to make me
worry about outperforming me.
It's just about like what's
You've
going to
already
make me
done it.
giggle, and yeah, just I guess that's a flow state, the thing that you used to talk about a lot.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
Yep.
So the elevator pitch, Ben, for this product is, I'm sure you've felt, and I certainly was this week, overwhelmed. I looked at my email and I realised I had a task list that was as long as the Nile River.
Yep.
I thought to myself, where the hell do I start? Where can I get some advice? I went to Master Wu. I asked Master Wu and he just said,
Yes.
take a moment and think about everything, write it down, and just go with the one that appeals to you most, that's talking to you most. And so that's a great idea. What a great way to just get through this little block. In this case, sometimes a block is you've got nothing. In this case, I've got a block where it was just everything, more like a dam. So let me play you the bad marketing for this, and let me know if you can't hear it.
Brain feels like 47 browser tabs are open. This one's for you. We're addicted to doing, the hustle, the grind, even our breaks feel like to-do lists. But here's the Zen fix. Stop trying to calm your mind, just observe it. 1 minute, eyes closed, no music, no apps. Just listen to your thoughts, your breath, that annoying car horn outside. Stress doesn't come from what's happening. It comes from how much we resist it. Want more no BS mental clarity? Visit the One Task app. See comments.
So
Nice.
that sets you up, Ben. Does that?
So you've got an ad. Wow.
So I've been
Started with
working.
marketing.
I guess I didn't trigger me when you asked what I've been up to, but I'd like to say I've been improving my prompts, but there's proof that my prompts are not improving.
Every time I open TikTok, I get these videos of yours. How many have you done? There must be like at least 20 or 30.
It probably feels like it. I think it might be 10 or so.
Okay.
The secret is to publish every day, but you've got to.
Yeah.
Can I admit? Okay, I have been doing a lot in AI. I admit I succumbed, and I've used a prompt to just copy the great creators out there, but add my flavour to it. Whereas before I was trying to do everything myself. I've generalised it, and the app has come up with better suggestions. And this actually wasn't originally. It was built around the idea of how am I going to get past the blockage, and then that's a good one to explain to people.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a little panda, red panda here, and I thought, you're going to use the red panda just at the end, and I'll actually explain this is for the app. So I kind of modified it and pulled it back to the app. So this is how we go live. We've got 500 little followers occasionally, or people who view these things. So there's an audience. Throw the TikTok up, boom. I'm interested. What's this weird, wacky thing? I go into the comments. I find the app. So let's go to the link of the app, and I'll just go back to sharing.
I like the sales funnel already.
It's pretty
So
wild.
Are you starting with is it the sales funnel first, product second?
No, well, maybe. Don't judge
Then the sales
me yet.
funnel.
Don't
gets
judge
on
me
product.
yet. So
Okay, I'm ready.
First view, and a lot of things I learnt from the last prototype and the feedback from my imaginary users. But I haven't done that this year. I'm going to go through the same process though, and my focus group at work. I've created an account, and I've actually in the back end got that working. So it's integrated with the idea of I can use create my own account. So that's actually working, which is which is great. And I've just been researching tonight the PayPal bit, but
Yep.
I'll give you a test. Did you get that terrible
Yeah,
music?
I did.
So, on with the comedy show. It's nowhere near your quality, Ben, but it was more about the panda and the digital panda.
Yep.
What we learnt from that last prototype was throw up the instructions straight up. So,
Like an onboarding.
yeah, and
Yeah.
just using that simple instruction set from the help button.
Yep.
I've thrown it up here. And of course, if you want to get rid of this is
Good.
the guest version, sign up, Ben. It's going to cost you $5 for 12 months, buddy.
Yeah.
It's not even a cup of coffee, and you can get the blissful outcomes. So it's that process I talked about before. Is, get a cup of tea, take a breath, list it out, just pick one thing. And originally I called this the bowl and stone. So you drop your stone into the bowl, and it focuses you on the one task you've got to deliver. So let's have a look. So this is the free version. You can only put in 2 stones, I'm afraid. But if you get the paid version, you'll find that you can upgrade and put more stones in. It'll actually tell you if you try and put another stone in that you can't put more stones in. Sorry. So what I do is I drop my stone. Can you see the graphic there? Into
Yeah. Cool.
the bowl. Now I need to go and do my task. Respond to those emails. Boom.
Right.
Done. Complete. Thanks very much. I can now add another stone back in. Maybe I have 50 stones. That's it. That's the whole app. I've kept it simple. I didn't add any social functions and fuck it up. I've got a little bit of promotion built. I've got an app built. Very simple. You're panicking. I've just got 60 things. I'm going to work on one of them. Bang. Mark is done.
Do you know what? I have this problem so much, and I've been trying to figure this out. I constantly just keep getting sidetracked. I keep getting sidetracked by my to-do list. Even though I've got a to-do list, I still get, I guess, bombarded or overwhelmed with all the stuff to do on that. And it's pretty well filtered. And
I'll just skip that.
just the idea of having one task to just focus on.
Yeah, well, and look, for me at the moment, in that moment of time, it was like, I don't know where to start. I've never had that. I've never thought to myself, where do I actually bloody start? So, and then this is the full paid version, Ben, which means I can have a few more stones to think about. But with the whole Taoist philosophy and the Zen philosophy idea, it's like, which thing do I feel is the thing that's most important? And maybe it's just dinner right now. Pop it in the bowl. Boom.
And then just do it.
Market is done. But just focus on that task. That's it.
That's so simple, and I need that. Because I keep getting stuck on I procrastinate so much.
Look, I was really hoping to actually show you tonight, and I'm almost there, the paywall.
Yep.
So I'm just working through the PayPal. I looked at Stripe, and I've realised that actually years ago I built out a website for someone, and I used PayPal, and I actually got it working, and doing it the old-fashioned way with HTML code. So I could just drop in that information into the AI here, and it's just super quick. So cool. It'll be, but you talked about all the legal implications and stuff. And I started thinking this needs one of those little user agreements that you agree to, that this app could disappear at any time and you can't sue me for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
$5.
Definitely put that in there because, hey, it's the reality of what you're doing. But I think what I love about this is, this is hosted, ready to go once you get your payment integrations. And I think the cool part else as well is the funnel from TikTok.
It was all your idea. I I just riffed on it. I just did a bit of a riff.
Which idea was that?
In creating the audiences, I sort of from socials, I was just like,
Well, what you can do now, just do TikTok advertising, which costs barely anything.
I can't afford to
for
pay for
$10.
This is all free.
For $10, you no, you can put a paid.
It's so painful doing 10-second clips, trying to prompt, and I was doing the prompts in JSON in chat, kids out there, and I found it actually preferred plain language prompts than trying to get technical. And look, shortcut kids as well. You create your image. So I created an image of the panda first. I made a couple of little mistakes in the way that I produced it. So ChatGPT saw the remix function. I accidentally went overboard with the remix function, so he doesn't look quite as crisp as the original. And I was in a bit of a rush just to get it done for this episode. But
isn't it crazy how much you can do in such little time?
Yeah, so
you're ready to go. Check a paywall on it, it's ready to go.
Brutal, philosophical feedback on it, Ben. Did it get there?
Yeah.
Did it get there?
For me, I think it's more successful than last week because I instantly knew what it does. Well, I wouldn't say instantly because the whole bowl and stones, that confused me.
Oh, okay.
But because I'm not, I guess I'm probably not that zen.
Okay, fair enough.
But seeing you just do it once, I was like, it just hit straight away. I was like, that's exactly what I need. I need something that I can just focus on one task at a time and not try and have 3 AIs on screen at once doing different things. I just need to focus on one task. So I love it. I would use it.
It's really interesting process to strip back everything. Like you could add a clock in there. It's like, well, the clock doesn't add any value to the decision making.
Not really.
And to trying to get the outcome, you're just going to push yourself with more stress. So
do you know what? I love the and I'm not criticizing the bowl and the stone thing. I actually really like that because it makes it more tactile, more real, rather than this is a task list, this is a to-do list. It takes it into that spiritual thing, and I think that taps into the mindset of where people want to be, what they want to achieve, is this clarity and this sense of peace. And I think you've used the design and the UX to do that.
There's a little bit of clever prompting to get it to do, to treat it like I am dragging the task across two cards. There's a little bit of action to make that happen.
Yeah.
Once you figure it out, though, and it's things I learnt from the previous iteration, the previous build, you're able to bring it across and iterate quicker, and I'm just trying to push it further. Trying to push.
So cool. Are you using this for yourself?
I did use it. Yeah, I
think try it out for a week and report back next week. See what works and what you'll change.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for something that can simplify this. Because I still have my big task list, which needs to be there. I use Asana. It would be cool if I could just plug Asana into the back end of this, and then I can just drag and drop my stone.
Yeah. Well, plugin would be probably easy to do something like that. Really easy. And I nearly stole that idea of being able to download it, like just to look at your a history of tasks or something, perhaps. But I'm just keeping it simple today.
That's probably it. Maybe the integration gets in the way of what this is supposed to be.
Exactly. But it's really interesting to say what's in, what's out.
Okay, I've got a question for you then. If you could delete something from this, get rid of it, what would it be?
You actually touched on it and you jumped ahead to where I think it goes next, and that is VR. So it would actually be the bowl, whether it's VR or
I get you.
What are the glasses where they're more in the environment?
AR. Yeah.
A little boom, your card of stones up in the corner, and you could take the stone and drop it into an actual bowl. Boom.
That would be cool.
That was the
Actually,
other thing
I like that.
I wanted to make a little sound I wanted to drop a little sound. So when you drop the rock in, it will make a little sort of splash noise and then a humming.
I think that's what it needs, because it's when that water ripples in the background, it has a satisfying effect, but I don't think it goes the full distance of actually just dropping something in water.
Yeah.
Which is like way outside the scope for this.
But hang on,
but
I tried to get there.
It points to the possibility.
Listen to it. I was trying to get it to a point where it'd be like splash. But I was like, where am I going to get
like the
this
concept
from?
works. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, the sales funnel app, less than a week. Got a groovy red panda.
Let's do mine. It's funny, we have a TikTok theme with ours. So mine isn't actually, I guess it's probably not. Okay. No, I won't lead the witness. All right, we'll get into this. So politics is everywhere. There's so much noise.
Politics, dangerous game.
And I think that there's not just this rat race for policies, there's this rat race for attention. Now, politicians, local governments, local council, they all do a terrible job at communicating with their constituents. It almost seems like that dad's in the room and he's trying to talk to his kids and be all hip. It just doesn't work. But so, like on one hand, you've got, the politician, the dad in the corner. Then you've got these TikTok teenagers over there, and these worlds don't cross over. What happens if they do cross over? And so what I've come up with is a little app called Politic. It's the TikTok for politics. So,
yes, I'm in. This is great.
Forget about girls in yoga pants, and I get a lot of rugby tackles on my TikTok. I don't know what that says about me. Forget about all that. None of that nonsense is allowed on there. If you're not an MP, if you're not a council member, you don't get to go on. But you can enjoy it. So we'll just enter. So here we go. Welcome to Politic. Now this will stream all of the council meetings. At the moment it's connected up to council meetings. I'll put the sound on.
Wow.
So it's probably not playing through the speakers, but there's people talking. Go to the next clip. Politic. So what it does is it gives you just a quick overview of what they're talking about. Just some context.
Can I ask what you built this in?
Titles. Firebase.
You built this in Firebase too?
In Firebase, yeah.
Damn, how many hours did you not sleep?
No, I did this when I was when I was supposed to be doing work yesterday. No, this probably only took about an hour to put together. So yeah, with Politic, just click, go to the next one. So I did a project way back, Analytica, and it's still going. I just don't have time because I'm creating AI albums, so I don't have time to actually work on that Analytica. But what it is this tool that pulls in all of the council meetings and the agendas, and then chops them up into clips, gives context, does posts, and so on. And it does it all automatically. All you've got to do is put a link in from where the council meeting is, and it'll chop it up. So I've used those videos in this, everything that's chopped up. And yeah, so you just go through. You can subscribe to the council. That's a break a day. You can like it, keep going, and you can hear all about everything that's happening in every meeting.
If I was break a day council, could I claim that account, or how does it work?
Yeah.
You would let them claim it and close it?
Or maybe not.
Down,
no, I don't know. Depends.
This reminds me of all the problems in the time bank and working out how you're going to put what rules in place.
So I've got a zoom feature just in case you need to see things up close. You can zoom out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound's not working because it's not hooked up to the system. But yeah, that you
No,
can
I
hear them
trust
talking.
you. They're talking. Yeah.
Down here, got breaking news. What's happening right now? This is the politic news ticker. Also got the current time and the temperature, just in case, because I can just imagine like someone like my dad glued to this thing, getting all riled up in his armchair. You need to give them some sense of what's happening outside. So I got my politic logo up here, a little explore.
Every
so now I can
older
go
bloke
through.
in my life, that age, would be glued to it. Glued to it.
So you can
Have
go
you put-
subscribe.
Can I comment? Can you
Yeah.
put your anger in there?
Yeah. So I've played around
Oof.
with adding the emojis. I didn't get them up for this prototype. But it's TikTok for angry people.
Politics.
So you can
Man.
subscribe to the different councils you want to,
Oh, I love it,
and
mate.
we go
I
back to
love
the
it.
feed.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. I'd use that for work too.
Politic.
Could you add, say, because the Tasmanian Parliament live streams now occasionally as well. You know, that'd be gold on here. Even the Australian Parliament. I mean, this is
So it's
democracy at another level.
This is, well, one thing I've always said is that politics is really great without context, and this removes any context from politics. It's all just these short snippets, these 30-second clips, and it doesn't give you any background into what it's about. But it does allow you to get angry if you so wish.
But that's the
So
beauty,
that's
isn't
the biggest flaw I found in this, is that you get these 30-second clips. You go, what is this about? What is this planning approval about? I have no idea.
it?
And so,
No,
but then again,
but you might know. You might be engaged in that community, and you
Yeah.
might have an idea of what is going on there. And the fact that you've put it all into one place in such a consumable form.
I just ripped off TikTok. Do you know what I did? Okay, we'll go through the prompts.
No, but you've done the old steal it and then improve it kind of thing.
I even stole their logo.
Only a little bit. I noticed. I was going, where does copyright start and finish on this? But
Oh, wow.
let's Uber it. Let's just pay the fine,
Yeah.
lose our homes, and go. Hell for leather.
So politic. What else can I say about politic?
It says it all itself, Ben.
Yeah.
You've
that's
managed
it.
to conquer another audience or expand on that already captured audience.
This idea came from not necessarily thinking anything through. It's like, oh shit, I've got nothing to show. What come to me, and
Pressure.
then just said TikTok for politics. I was like, okay, let's just do that.
Pressure. So did you generate that idea, or did it come to you in the shower or dream at night?
No, I sat here at the computer. I was like, oh shit, I better do something. And as soon as I touched hands to keyboards, it was there.
So it came from the muses, did it?
I think more so just do something funny, to do something that would make you laugh. That's pretty much it.
Fantastic.
But yeah, but it works. And like, this is a low fidelity it's a high fidelity prototype, but none of the back end is really,
I know what you
it's
mean.
very duct taped together. It's pulling from a real database hosted in the cloud. But all these accounts, it would break very quickly. However, I think even just to put a concept in front of someone, go to, I don't know who would pay for this, go to an investor and say, what do you think about TikTok for politics? I can call it politic. At least they can say, oh, I don't know. And then look at it and it's like, oh yeah, maybe there's some value, maybe there's not. But anyway, but I think also another cool thing of this is, okay, I've done a politics version, but there's no reason why you couldn't make a TikTok for yourself. Get rid of all that other nonsense that's just clickbait and just drill down to something you're really interested in. Apparently in China, they don't have any of that shit on TikTok, on their version of TikTok. It's all science, STEM subjects, and educational things. So
Mm.
they won't allow that rubbish. And this is just quickly inside Firebase. So this was 100% prompted. And so this was the prompt. An app that pulls in local council videos that I have posted on YouTube, which I got rid of that because that didn't work very well.
Yeah.
And it scrolls like TikTok or YouTube Shorts. The idea is that people subscribe to their local council and it will scroll videos into their TikTok style scrolling feed. And that was it. So
Isn't it deadly?
I think the cool thing about this Firebase, what's proven, is that just a really simple idea that starts off as, 2 sentences, it can get fleshed out really quickly. And yeah.
Impressive as always, Ben. Out of the box thought process. And I know I harp on about it. Media's not covering it. Change is not always quick, but it's going to seem sudden to people, or it's going to be like, well, where did that come from? But this is in a way has been gradual. Although it's probably faster than other things. Like
Yep.
Chat, for example, has updates pretty regularly, and those updates are in not huge steps, but they're gonna become one big step at some point. A lot of people are just gonna go, "Phew, whoa, hey, that was a bit of a revolution," and I think people sense it's coming, but it's not really being talked about enough.
I think like what we're doing, it's proving that with just a small idea, we can get something to market. If all things are aligned and it's the right idea at the right time, it's executed very simply and effectively, connected to all the back ends, paywall integrated into it as well, and with the right kind of marketing, the right kind of sales funnel, then these big shifts can happen overnight. And it doesn't have to be a TikTok clone, but anything can just be integrated. And this is what excites me so much about this stuff, is because like what you and I are doing, they're pretty high quality and high fidelity and highly capable, which I think that might cover us through our prototypes. But
I wanted see something else where some of those platforms may also take your ideas too in their T's and C's when you're building on them.
Yeah, potentially. But I guess that's the risk you run. This Firebase is free for the most part. So obviously it's
I'm sure it's got do no evil in it from Google somewhere. So
yeah,
but it's a sacrifice a little bit, isn't it?
Well, for this next part, I think great job on the prototypes team. What I was thinking,
who did we make unemployed out of all that?
The media.
I think you did. I don't think I ended put anyone out of a job with mine. Sadly,
you
not even councils.
Made people's jobs easier. I think you've made people more productive, and that goes a long way across the the entire spectrum. So what I was thinking, we've been doing prototypes every week, and we'll still keep doing these because they're a lot of fun, and I'm getting buzzed with heaps of ideas. But I thought, well, let's put our money where our mouth is. And this is an open discussion now. So I was thinking we could either do it together or individual. I don't mind.
Coming out of that for me with AI. Sorry, go ahead. Pitch it to me.
Let's launch something.
Right.
Something real. And it has to go out there, not just a clever, not just a clever
rock and bowl
show and tell, but something that's
rock and bowl's ready to go, brother.
But I think we should do something that goes out into the public.
I think you've done it.
Using our marketing prowess. We don't have to spend dollars on it, but using our marketing prowess, our understanding of the audience, using this Firebase to build it and then launch it and see what happens. So I think there's a couple of constraints here that are actually going to work really well in our favor. We both have day jobs. We both have families. we don't have the time to develop this out and to code it, so we will have to be using these tools like Firebase and some AI things around it. So I think that sort of constrains it by design to having to be something quite simple. There's no doubt you could do a big platform on Firebase, but I think that just requires a lot more time and development, which I think sort of goes in the face of this backyard alchemy, backyard anarchy. What do you think?
Yeah, is it gonna be a black box that we're gonna reveal next episode, or is it gonna
I don't know. I think we can work it over a couple of weeks.
Yeah, cool.
But not too long.
I think there's some arguments, there's some bun fights, there's some good brainstorming to occur, perhaps in the light of public scrutiny, with the three people watching. Yeah, and I think you're right. There's some constraints that will make us work harder, but keep us, working creatively to problem solve and push the product.
I think let's give it 4 weeks for it.
4 weeks.
I don't think it should be complicated, but 4 weeks to launch. And I think we should do it on the podcast, not in our back. Like, I'm sure, like, putting the prototype together, yeah, we can do that in our own time. But in actually going through the concept, figuring it out, I think we should do that on camera, because a lot of people see the tail ends of a lot of hard work, a lot of creativity, like an iPhone, for example, but you don't see the journey. And I think it's the journey that's as important as the product itself, because it gives it so much more meaning when you see how much sweat has gone over just like a font or whatever, but also the necessity of that sweat, making those right calls and what they mean. So, and if it fails, who cares? It won't fail, but if it does, that's creativity.
That is creativity. Creativity, art, science, the Renaissance man, woman.
Exactly. So I reckon for next week, let's just have a small part of it, the podcast, where we'll start to brainstorm some ideas.
Okay.
And see what sticks.
Oh, excellent.
And I don't think we should overthink it. And I think whatever sticks, let's just go with that. And then see through like that politic that came from nanoseconds of thinking. So I think if we overthink this, it's probably gonna not be that good. So yeah, let's just do it. See what happens.
Well, I mean, simplicity is the thing I've learned. You can even off something simple, you can suddenly create a lot of complexity and rules to produce information.
Exactly. All right. I think that wraps it up for this week. Anything you want to add or cover?
I shot you the teacher explaining how AI would impact education.
Yes.
And I know you've really banged the tin can on this, and I thought, I just couldn't envision quite how it would work. But again, learning from setting up the Taoist app and the curriculum, I suddenly saw him. He explains the curriculum and shows how perhaps AI would step children through the learning process and then work to correct their mistakes and teach them potentially in different ways. And then he talked about how the teacher's role would change. It may not actually delete the teacher, so to speak, make them obsolete, but they would have to find their role would be changed in quite a different way, where it would be a more guiding type process. So I thought that really brought to, it might be worth putting in the show notes, but that really brought to life what you were saying, Ben, about how our kids are gonna. I mean, the generation that's on that's going to be smart. I think they're going to be highly intelligent kids, and if the AI can adapt to their learning style and works out what gets it to sink in for those kids, those kids are going to be unstoppable.
I absolutely believe that too. I think it's interesting how the role of the teacher will change. Sort of drill it back, like the role of the parent's going to change too.
Yeah.
If suddenly they're talking to their teddy who has ChatGPT built in, asking all these fantastical questions about the universe and whatever, is mum and dad going to get those questions? And then who do mum and dad become? Just the facilitators, the people who pay the power bills to get, and the internet bill to get this thing. So I don't know, but then you never really know how culture will swing, and maybe the elastic band will snap back the other way, and there will be a cultural revolt against this stuff, and we go not further back, but we go in a different direction. That's not because a lot of what we do and what we say and what we're surrounded by is really decided by not our governments, not by our teachers. Our culture is decided by the tech bros, the Silicon Valley tech bros in America. You know, they dictate what we see on these feeds. They dictate their algorithms. They dictate the tools and what the tools actually do. And these are all public and private companies, but they don't have any oversight from our governments. So, yeah. But on a happy note, check out our album, Trust Your Instincts, on Spotify.
Trust your instincts. Download it, kids. Thanks, Ben.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks to those
See you next time.
couple of people watching. See ya.
Bye.